Welcome everyone. This is my home in Livorno, and today we're going to talk about how to make super powered vinegar, probiotic vinegar, from your food scraps. So this is something that I took a course on here in Italy a couple of years ago. We call this kind of scrap vinegar FerVida. It's comprised of two Spanish words, I believe, fermentazione and vida, so fermentation for life. And when I went searching for how to do this in English, I found lots of stuff on scrap vinegar, but really not this technique. So this is based on a Thai technique called Nam Mak. And what it allows you to do is get your food scraps out of the waste system if you don't have the ability to compost, but even if you do compost, it's just another use for your food scraps. But this is awesome because with this superpowered vinegar, you can clean everything in your home. It also has a magical power to disinfect things in a way that is sustainable. So it creates an environment in which harmful bacteria cannot grow, instead of just like annihilating everything in sight, which we know is not a war we can win when it comes to single-celled creatures. So, ciao, thank you. So today we're going to talk about how to make this magical potion as soon as the church bells stop ringing. In addition to using the vinegar for cleaning products, you can also create beauty products. I make an awesome kind of a gel lotion that's really great for your whole body. And you can make cool things like probiotic guacamole, vegan mayonnaise, all sorts of interesting things. Anyway, okay, so let's talk a bit about what you see in here. There are the food scraps in the bottom, and then what you see here, which is so very abundant, is what's called a biofilm or a microbial mat or a pellicle. And normally it's about maybe this tall, that would be a lot, but I was gone for such a long time that this thing is just like turned into the blob. It's ready to walk away on its own. Anyway, I'm going to take this out of here for now, just so you can see what a cool, sexy thing this is. And we're going to put it on a plate, so because otherwise it's just impossible to work with. Oh, mamma mia. Ciao. Ciao, bellezza. What I do as I'm cooking is I just save my food scraps. Now, you want your food scraps to be in good shape. They shouldn't be like rotting or bruised or nothing full of dirt either. So I collect things for a few days in a container and I keep it in the fridge just to keep things in the best shape possible. And I'm going to inspect what I've collected before I actually go dumping it in. So I have in here some fennel, some orange peels, some celery peels. What else is in there? Let's see if we can do a little close-up shot here. Oh, bellino. Okay. So there's nothing in here that is stinky. So I would avoid cabbages or onions or garlic. Those will go in the composter. And if you stick to things that are more fragrant, then the vinegar that you get will just have a little bit better smell. And another thing, what you use should be organic produce, and also wash it, because even with organic produce, they can use substances on there that you want to make sure that you wash them off before you put them in your FerVida, just to keep the amount of chemicals to a minimum, okay? The container. Glass is best, but you know, when you get to bigger sizes than this, glass can be, well, it's heavy for one thing, and it can be really expensive. And with a wide mouth is best, because if you don't have the magical microbial mat, you will need to weight your organic matter to keep it submerged at the beginning. So it needs to be wide enough to be able to insert a little plate or like a plastic bag full of water, and it's just easier to deal with, obviously, if the mouth is as wide as the cylinder. Other than that, food grade plastic. So you can buy these at like Home Depot, you know, that are about this big. Another source, if you don't want to spend money for a container, is to ask a restaurant that you go to because sometimes they may be throwing out, big food grade containers that were full of olives or something. Those will also work. I'm going to put 20% of sugar by weight to water. So you're going to need a kitchen scale. And the water should be non-chlorinated. I go to a public drinking water fountain that we have here in Livorno. It's chlorinated, obviously, it's city water. But then I bring it home and I let it sit. And I let it sit for at least 6 hours. And this works marvelously. Okay, so we're going to add some more liquid to this mixture that's already fermenting. And I tend to work in this way. I'll start with a small quantity of water and sugar, and then as it fills up and gets saturated with organic matter, I'll just add to it. So how much are we going to put in? Let's maybe put like a half liter. Working in milliliters or grams is going to be a whole lot simpler from the arithmetic point of view. So 500 milliliters of water, and that means 100 grams of sugar. So we'll zero the scale. And again, organic sugar. I have this that's raw sugar, but even organic white sugar will do. Okay, voila. And you don't need to stir super well. It will do the work for you eventually. Okay, and to that, I'm now going to add my food scraps. And again, this is similar to the million videos that you can find on how to make scrap vinegar out of apple cores or whatever. But the difference here is that you're actually going to let this ferment like for months, okay, maybe even a year. And this is in the traditional Thai way of doing things. And what you get is just like vinegar that will nearly take the paint off your car. I don't know what the acidity level is. I really should check that out one of these days. Anyway. The smell is fantastic. I think it's fantastic. Alrighty. We're going to put the magic mat back in. And this is about as full as we want this thing. It's really too full now, actually. I need to give some of this away or make some more stuff with it. Oi, oi. That is too full. Okay. And whatever liquid is left, there we go. Okay, so again, you want to keep your organic matter submerged. And you want to cover it. Ideally, you'll want to leave about 10% headroom in this container. So I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to screw it on tight enough to keep the critters out, because the gnats and other little creatures love this stuff. And but not too tight. You don't want to make an airtight job of it because it needs oxygen to do its thing. And then I'm going to do a secondary critter measure here. Put a cloth on top, and I'm going to want to secure it with an elastic band. There, that's a good one. Oh, aiuto. Voila. All right, and then you're going to want to check this, especially at the beginning, just to make sure there's no mold growing on it. And you know it's mold if it looks dry or fuzzy. So the SCOBY, so the microbial mat, it's slimy. Allora, so I'm going to let this sit in the dark, preferably, for some months. According to the tradition, you'd let it sit like for a year. But I've found that even after 4 months or so, it's plenty powerful. In that case, when it gets to the point where you feel like it's good and fermented, you just take your microbial mat out, put it back on a plate, drain off the liquid, and then throw the food scraps into your composter. At that point, they're going to give like an amazing microbial boost of all sorts of millions of good probiotics to your composter. And then that vinegar, I keep mine in just an old leftover wine bottle, and you will dilute it in order to make a general, like an all-purpose cleaning product for your home. Dilute it 10 parts to 1 with unchlorinated water or chlorinated water that's been sitting for at least 6 hours. And this you can spray on all surfaces to disinfect and to clean. In other upcoming episodes, I'll be showing you how to make a delectable orange all-purpose cleaning product, cleaning cream, using the probiotic vinegar. If you have any questions, feel free to write to me. I hope this was useful. Happy fermenting, my friends.